Primetime local news, serving the Lakeland and Midwest regions.
The Sunderland Corn Maze is now officially open after delaying their opening to the beginning of August. Last year was their inaugural year for the Corn Maze, which featured lots of events like their Harvest Kickoff Party. This year's launch was on hold due to the extreme heat and lack of rain in the prairies over the course of the summer.
Usually we open a week quicker than what we did this year, so we went a little bit later, but we were blessed with some rain in the last few weeks, and so the corn's actually grown a little bit. We weren't sure if we were even going to do the maze, and then at last minute sort of got a few rains, and it looks like it's going to be able to make it well enough. So.
The 25-acre maze usually features corn stalks rising up to 7 feet compared to its 4 to 6 feet in some areas, with 3 miles worth of trails between the two mazes. One of the reasons it was built was to give something to the community that people can enjoy before COVID restrictions were lifted in the province.
You're not close to anyone else, you can spread out, and it was something for kids to do, and yeah, that was really the reason that we went ahead and built the maze last year. So this year, with restrictions being lifted, it's still just a great place to come, whether you're nervous about being around other people, you're out in a maze, you're by yourself, you're just enjoying a walk through a farmer's field. So
Admission to the maze is free 7 days a week from sunrise to sundown and will run until end of September. For more information on upcoming events, head to the Sunderland Corn Maze Facebook page. Residents in Recovery is celebrating a few successes this week, including acquiring the Harris House and the start of a new program. Residents in Recovery officially started their Apprehension Diversion Living program, a project they've had in the works for a few years. Now they've secured a place for mothers and their children to live.
We welcomed the first mother and her newborn baby into the house. We took over the old Harris House yesterday for the program, so we can have up to 10 mothers in that house. There's 10 bedrooms in there. So, it is a program that we do look to expand. Right now, this is a collaboration with Onion Lake Family Services.
Lorenz is grateful for the fact that residents in Recovery can help connect and reunite family through this new program.
To really start this right at the start, right where, mother gives birth and has baby, really completes that continuum of care right from the start right through to, after they go to treatment and beyond. So yeah, I think it should lend to a much more sustainable and long-term recovery for everybody.
They also got some fundraising last week with the help of Cuts by Jord with the Do or Die salon here in Lloydminster. To celebrate 1 year with the salon, Jordy donated all his proceeds on the 27th towards the organization.
It blows my mind that he raised $1,000 by doing haircuts in a day, but he's such a huge support for our program. He's such an amazing guy. And every little bit counts. Right? It's nice that we can get back to doing some fundraising again.
Residents in Recovery is planning to hold another shed raffle in the fall to raise money for their programming. The annual multicultural festival Lloyd Fest kicks off next weekend at the Lloyd X. Jace Mackey has more on how the event will look this year.
I'm joined today with Susan Cambridge. We're talking about Lloyd Fest 2021 that's going to be coming to the Lloyd X grounds. Now, last year's Lloyd Fest, Susan, had to adapt because of COVID-19, and this year things are going to be different as well. Can you just tell me what people can expect?
Well, for Lloyd Fest 2021, it's a combination of a couple things. So initially, we were going to go strict drive-through, with the entertainment and with the food and so on. But this year, we've decided, okay, the movie is still there. So this movie, Lloyd Fest, the movie, is a combination of history over the years with Lloyd Fest. So from 2019 to 2021, it's filled with entertainment. So it's multicultural entertainment on a big screen, but there's also a little bit of information as to how we all get started, the importance of why we do this event. So that's the first thing. So you'll be up close and personal to everything. Now, since the restrictions have been lifted a bit, we will have a few in-person performances from our local community and so on. So that will happen before the movie, and then, well, the movie's going to be twice. So we're going to fill the gaps with some in-person entertainment. And of course, you can bring your chair to come and enjoy the movie. So we'll remove the cars and people could just come and have a good time together and enjoy, the food, the different multicultural food, and each other.
So one big part of Lloyd Fest is the food. Can you talk to me a little bit about what kind of food is going to be available there on the day?
Okay, so we're gonna have popcorn first thing. Can't have a movie without popcorn. So we're gonna have that. We're gonna have some Mexican food with the Mexican food truck. We'll have churros. That's a nice little sweets. And they're from Chile. We're also gonna have some Filipino food, pack and go. We're gonna have the mini donuts truck, and we're gonna have some Pakistani food. So I think it's gonna be awesome.
So Lloyd Fest, the movie, can you tell me a little bit more about what that entails?
So this year we did some collaboration. So the whole time during the movie, what you're going to see is entertainment, a recap of 2019, some of what took place in 2020, and we collaborated with Folk Fest in Saskatchewan. So they're going to share some of their videos with some of their cultural performances, and we shared some of ours. So all of this came about because we were a bit uncertain as to what 2021 would look like, but we knew that collaborating and sharing videos would be quite interesting, because for people who've never been to Folk Fest, they will be able to grab a glimpse of some of the different cultures that probably we don't have here in Lloyd. So that's one of the big things that came out of that. So it's going to be filled with constant entertainment. There's no intermission or no breaks in between. So 2 3/4 hours filled, and it's going to be shown twice a day. So twice on Saturday and twice on Sunday.
So what time should people be coming down to make sure that they're there in time to, watch this movie and enjoy everything that's going on?
People to come from the get-go. We open up our event from 11 a.m. to 9 p.m. Initially, we're trying to get the movie to start at 1 p.m. So it'll have 1 to about 3 and 3:30, and then the other one a little later on. But we want to leave room for a little flexibility in case the weather looks a little, in case there's any change, so that you can have a perfect view of the movie. But certainly, we want you to come on down. All right. So even if you caught part of the first part, you can catch up with it on the second movie. So we want people to come on down, come and get your boarding passes, because we're going to have some giveaways. As usual, we usually have that boarding pass. You come, it's all free. Admission is free. We're going to have some giveaways. We also partnered with another organization called the Lakeland Multicultural Association, and they've created some craft bags. They normally do craft bags, a different country they celebrate every month. So for August, we will be celebrating Ukraine. So we're going to have 40 of those bags to give away for the children. And inside of there's information on Ukraine, as well as a little bit of craft that they can do. So we're looking forward to that. We're also going to have a giveaway from Eats and Treats and a whole lot more. So come on down, get your boarding pass so you can have a chance to win.
So finally, Susan, you've been putting on Lloyd Fest for the past few years here in Lloydminster. Why is it so important for you to have this festival here in the Lloydminster area?
Jace, it's a feeling that you get when you migrate from one country to the next, right? It's a feeling you get as an immigrant, where there's a bit of nostalgia that steps in. And I know I'm not singular in this, right? And so you were so excited to share where you came from, your background, and all of that. And all of us as immigrants, that is what we'd like to see. But we're not the first to have come. So we have come to join people who've already been here. And I think, especially in Lloydminster, or any community for that matter, it's nice to have that opportunity, not just to celebrate at certain times of the year, but for all of us to come together. And in so doing, we make connections, right? Intercultural connections. It brings off a sense of how do I say, appreciation. You know what I mean? People look at the things that probably divide us, but it is equally as important to look at that as the things that bring us together. And I would like to see Lloydminster owning an event once a year that brings not just the people of Lloyd together, but the people of outside. There are other different cities who have annual events, and it's huge. And so my intent is to actually make Lloyd Fest an annual event that gets bigger and bigger every year.
Welcome back. Drought conditions have left most producers frustrated with this year's crops. But the same can't be said for a U-pick farm southeast of Lloydminster. Our agriculture reporter Jillian Code has the story.
This hot and dry summer has most producers wanting to put this growing season behind them, but a farm south of Marshall, Saskatchewan doesn't feel the same way. Berry View Farms grows Saskatoons, and owner Alice Pattison says these drought conditions didn't hurt their yield.
Well, I would say about average or a little bit better. Last year it was a little down because we had some bird damage, but this year I would say it was average or better.
This summer's heat caused a slightly shorter season for their U-pick, but deep roots kept the bushes fruitful.
Saskatoon berries have been known to be able to withstand drought conditions better than other crops, which has made them a long-standing prairie staple. They've been used in indigenous dishes like pemmican, and they also helped settlers survive the dirty 30s.
Back in the 30s when everybody, well, they called the dirty 30s, people survived with one of their main fruits was Saskatoons because they don't mind it dry and they don't mind the drought.
Pattison said that the Western Canadian staple is a hit with customers from the East Coast and other countries.
And it's fun to teach them what a Saskatoon is and to tell them to go out and taste them, because every variety of Saskatoons, and we have 3 here, every variety tastes different because they're more related to an apple than a berry.
The fruit closely resembles a blueberry, but the stem opening on the bottom is similar to that of its distant cousin, the apple. As the season winds down, Berryview Farms will spend some of their time attending local farmers markets with products like jams and jellies. Jillian Code, Primetime Local News.
A little more relief for farmers during this stressful drought. The provincial and federal governments have reached an agreement in the Agri-Stability Program. Now producers facing losses due to the drought can get up to 75% of their estimated benefit before the program year is complete. The previous interim benefit was set at 50%. The program is meant to help producers reduce market risk by paying out a benefit when a year's production value declines by 30% or more of an individual's farm's reference point. Now we'll take a look at your egg prices. The CFL is back for the first time in more than a year. The Hamilton Tiger Cats face the Winnipeg Blue Bombers tonight to kick off the season, 620 days since they played in the 2019 Grey Cup. The Saskatchewan Roughriders will be on the field tomorrow night at a sold-out Mosaic Stadium when they host BC. All teams will be playing a shortened 14-game season leading up to this year's Grey Cup in December in Hamilton. Last weekend, the Border City hosted softball teams from across Alberta from the U12A and U19A Provincials. At the same time, the U14 and U16 teams went off the Climate.
And so Red Deer was unable to just get things together to host this year, and so they looked to us. Our biggest challenge was making sure we had a weekend, and once we secured that, we knew that we would be able to pull it off. We have incredible facilities here in Lloydminster, and we also have an incredible volunteer base.
1 month of preparations is all it took for the Lloydminster Amateur Softball Association to throw the 2021 Provincials together. After missing out on the 2020 season, players, fans, and the association were happy to be back on the diamond.
If you'd have told us that we'd get what we did this season, we'd have been so thrilled. We hosted a GPLS event earlier in the season. We were able to host a provincial event. It's been so great for our kids to be able to get out and enjoy the sport that they love.
It was amazing, honestly, just to be here with my team on our home diamond. We had so many fans come out to watch us and support us, and we had younger teams come out once they were done and they were there for us, and it was just a really amazing experience.
The U14 Liners won silver while the U12s took home bronze. Tonight, the 5th stop on the CPCA Pro Tour kicks off at Poundmaker Cree Nation. Jamie Labacane will be looking to continue his success from last weekend. In Frog Lake, Labacane set a track record on Championship Sunday with a time of 1:14.87. The second-generation driver also won the aggregate with an overall time of 3:48.43. But at the end of June, Poundmaker hosted the first weekend of the season where BJ Carey won the final dash for cash and the aggregate with a time of 3:45.87. Now our Connor Chan will take another look at your weather forecast.
All right, thanks very much, Jasmine. Yes, producers can hopefully start to see some rain and be thankful for that on Friday, as we are going to start to see a little bit of thunder showers throughout most of Alberta and parts of Saskatchewan as well. And take a look here across Western Canada once again here. You're still in the heat warning for most parts of Alberta and a little bit in Saskatchewan as well. 31 in Edmonton, 30 degrees in Red Deer, Athabasca, and Jasper, and then 29 for both Edson and in Rocky Mountain House. A little bit warmer as we go down Highway 16 east with North Battleford at 30 degrees, 29 in Saskatoon, and then a little bit cooler, just dropping quite a bit, not quite a bit, I guess just a little bit there in Prince Albert and Milford at 26 and 25 degrees. Moving up north is definitely a little bit cooler as we are just low in the low 20s there, in 23 in La Loche and Buffalo Narrows, 18 degrees in the Uranium City and Wollaston Lake areas, along with 17 in Stony Rapids. 29 in Slave Lake, though, as that heat warning is reaching up around those Peace River, Grand Prairie areas still. 30 degrees in Peace River with 28 degrees in Grand Prairie, and then 20 up in the Fort Chipeway and 17 in Fort McMurray. Now down south in southern Alberta, things are definitely very warm, as we see usually the familiar foes in Medicine Hat, Lethbridge seeing very warm temperatures, along with Calgary in those 30-degree marks, 28 in Banff, and then same results for Saskatchewan, just a little bit more of a mixed results with 28 in Moose Jaw, 27 in Regina, and then 30 degrees in Swift Current. Now as we look ahead across the country here, Winnipeg's starting to get a little bit more of that terrible air quality as the air quality is shift over more so to the Manitoba areas, and they could also start to see some of those thunder showers and some storms along on top of that there. But 21 degrees with some of that overcast continuing on, most likely from the air quality watches that we've been getting over the last couple of days. 27 in Toronto and Quebec City, 23 in St. John's and Halifax, and then moving over into Vancouver area, 28 degrees, and then 17 up in Yellowknife with 20 degrees in Whitehorse. Now looking ahead to tomorrow, we are going to see thunder showers ourselves, but it is going to be a little bit warmer than it is today. We are going to still see 30-degree days, but that with that added rain on top of that, it could feel a little bit more humid and could cause for concern for potential maybe tornado type weather as we get those hot and cold temperatures kind of mixing in, and as we are going to start to see temperatures drop a little bit heading into the weekend, but 32 degrees nonetheless in Lloydminster, Maidstone, and Provost areas for tomorrow. 30 degrees in St. Paul with 31 in Vermilion, and Wainwright. 25 in Edmonton for tomorrow with 32 in Maidstone and North Battleford as well. 34 all the way up in Green Lake as well. Now taking a look to the next 7 days here, we are going to start to see quite a drop off here on Saturday at 23 and 18 degrees on Sunday, as we are going to start to see a little bit more cloud coverages, maybe a little bit of carryover from the showers on Friday. Going into Monday, 22 degrees as well as on Tuesday. So we're going to definitely see a much cooler week as we are getting back into those mid-20s, as August will start to see a drop a little bit in our daily averages, as we are going to get a little bit of cooler there, a little bit cooler temperature, and then 26 degrees on Wednesday and Thursday. That's a look at your 7-day forecast. We'll have more primetime local news after the break.
Joining us today for Primetime Local News is Tyler McMurtry with SGI. Thanks so much for once again joining us. We're speaking about this month's traffic spotlight and how we're focusing on safety travel on rural roads. Could you tell us a little bit more about this?
Yeah, when you live in Saskatchewan or Alberta, driving on rural roads, gravel roads is kind of a part of life. They connect many of our communities. They're a very important part of our roadway infrastructure. One of the things that people have to remember, though, even if they've been driving on them for some time, is that these roads present additional and different challenges to drivers than driving on a paved stretch of highway or a city street. And so that's something that we're asking people to remember with the August Traffic Safety Spotlight.
How many collisions would you say on average there are each year when it comes to accidents on rural roads?
More than 3,000, actually more than 3,300 on average every year here in Saskatchewan. And that's based on the last 5 years of traffic safety statistics. Now, many of those collisions do not result in an injury or a fatality, but far too many of them do. We see an average of 514 people injured and 25 people killed in collisions on rural roads. And when it comes to the fatalities, unfortunately, half of those involve impairment.
Now, would SGI say that they have seen more impaired drivers and distracted driving when it comes to drivers on rural roads compared to being on busy highways?
Well, particularly when it comes to impaired driving, the numbers of fatalities, the proportion of fatalities overall on rural roads is higher. And that is something that we really want to address. You know, the idea that, oh, I can have a number of drinks and then take a quiet, less traveled back road home and I'll be okay and I won't get caught by the police. You know, it shouldn't be about not getting caught. It should be about not getting killed. And as I said, when half of the collisions on, or half of the collision related fatalities on rural roads involve alcohol, that's a higher proportion than what we see on city streets and provincial highways. You know, the other thing that people have to be aware of is that many, in fact, most of those collision fatalities on rural roads that are related to impaired driving, they're single vehicle rollovers. So it's not anybody else's fault. It's not there's not another driver involved. It's that driver made a decision to drive impaired and it cost them their life. And so when we talk about safe driving on rural roads, we talk about a number of different things that all drivers should do: slow down, stay back, watch out for those flying stone chips. Of course, only pass when it's safe to do so. But really, one of the most important things you can do to keep yourself safe is drive sober.
And could you expand a bit on what some of the safety tips are that SGI wants to give drivers for rural roads when it comes to this month's traffic safety spotlight?
Sure. So I touched on them a little bit. Generally speaking, those gravel roads, they have lower speed limits than a provincial highway. In Saskatchewan, it's 80 kilometers per hour if it's not posted. Otherwise, you have to obey the posted speed limit. So slowing down, because even the best maintained gravel roads may have some rough spots, or maybe there was some rainfall or something like that further compromises your traction. You're going to need more room to slow down if something happens. So that's why we say slow down, and also give yourself plenty of following distance behind any other vehicles on the road. Normally on a regular paved stretch of highway, we'd recommend 3 to 4 seconds. On a rural road, you should stretch that out to 6 seconds, following 6 seconds behind. It'll help you avoid getting stone chips in your windshield, but also give you more visibility and more time to react and stop if you need. The other thing that people need to be aware of, you touched on distracted driving. Very important to remain undistracted on rural roads. There's differences in the terrain. There might be curves that you're not expecting. There's also more encounters with wildlife and farm equipment on rural roads, and plus you have less room to work with. There's not shoulders, so that's something that you're dealing with. Super important to keep your eyes on the road, off your phone or off anything else in your vehicle that may distract you.
For drivers that get into these situations, who can they call to help out, since most rural roads are farther from major centers?
So one of the things that we did today was we brought in STARS Air Ambulance for the launch of this, and so they respond to a lot of collisions, these very severe collisions on rural roads. But our best advice is do everything you can to avoid that collision in the first place, because if you are in a collision, especially if someone is hurt or very seriously injured and it's a life-threatening situation, when the farther you are from a major center, a tertiary hospital that can get you that help, STARS is there, and they are angels coming out of the sky, really, but they can't perform miracles. And the other thing is, if you're on a quiet country road, it might be some time before you're even discovered, and somebody might not be able to call help for you if you're in a position where you're incapacitated and unable to do it for yourself. So these are yet another reason, I would say, that it's really important to be careful, drive safe, drive sober, drive undistracted, watch your speed, and buckle up on rural roads.
Oh, perfect. Once again, thank you so much for joining me today, Tyler.
Thank you so much, Shelby.
I'm so excited today to be joined on Primetime Local News by Biff Naked. Biff, it is so great to meet you and speak with you. This is just an honor for me.
It's an honor for me. It's just so exciting, and hello to everyone in Lloyd and in Edmonton, everywhere that you're seeing this. Hi.
Well, and we're speaking to you today because you are going to be performing this weekend, Sunday in Edmonton, as part of the Together Again concert series. Is this your first show back since COVID and all the restrictions, or have you been doing some performances in between?
Well, I think a lot of artists over the last year and a half have probably been doing some streaming shows, some streaming events, either by themselves or for other streaming services kind of thing. And nothing can replace live shows. So this is an amazing opportunity. We've been looking forward to it for months. We knew about it and, had to keep it under our hats. And it's just really exciting. This is going to be a chance for us to not only reconnect with the audience, but reconnect with our friends who are also playing.
Well, and also on the lineup with you, 5440, the Trues, a couple of other bands too. So that's exciting. This is a real awesome lineup for somebody who wants to go and get back into live music on Sunday. You must be so excited to be playing with all of those guys again too.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, over the last, I guess, 30 years that I've been touring, I know almost everyone else who's been touring for the same amount of time. And it's really like always very jovial. It's a reunion. There's a great camaraderie. And it feels really important. It feels like a really powerful summer for everyone because we are, getting back into life. It's like, life didn't stop for all of us. But we all had to hit the pause button, and that's been really hard. There's been a lot of people who struggle with that, and a lot of industries that have struggled, including the music industry, which includes all the crews and all the setups, the production. So it's going to employ people for the weekend locally in Edmonton, and that's something that makes my heart feel so happy.
So what can people expect when they come out and see your show? I know you're going to have a whole bunch of energy, obviously, because it is, the first time back, but a lot of the classic songs, you have some new stuff that you're going to be debuting as well, or what's the plan for the show?
Oh, absolutely. It's going to be, we cannot play a show without playing, people's favorites. They want to hear I Love Myself Today, and that's good because I want to sing it. It's my favorite song to sing. And so always we try and we always end the show on that note because it's just a good, send off for both the audience and for us. And songs like Lucky, still make me cry when I sing them. And Spaceman, of course. We do have a new record that's still coming out called Champion, and we'll be playing Jim, which is the first single off of that record.
So after this show, do you have plans for more shows, or is this the test show and then you'll get in and see where you can book more shows after that? Or do you have a whole bunch lined up already after this one?
Well, as luck would have it, and I do always feel very, very lucky to even be booked ever. I think that we're heading to Saskatoon for a festival. We're going to be going to Newfoundland next month for a festival. We're paying North Bay Pride. So they are starting to trickle in. And of course, the Buck Cherry tour with us and Age of Days is happening in October. So keep your eyes peeled for that.
I've been checking out your social media and I see fans are just so excited to see you get back and get touring. How important is it for you to keep up with your fans on social media, keep giving them updates? And how do you feel when you see all of them talking about how excited they are to see you?
Oh, my heart grows. It just grows. I can't express how much reading stuff like that and getting positive feedback from people, it makes my day every time. And I've been very, very lucky. As I've gotten older, my fans have also gotten older. And so it's like we grew up together. We all have we laugh at the same jokes and we relate to the same things. And so it's always good to catch up and see everyone again.
Well, thank you so much for speaking with us today. It has been a pleasure. And again, Sunday, Edmonton, for this concert, tickets are still available. And if anybody is looking for information, even just to follow you on social media, if they are not already, what's the best place? Where would you do the most of your updates?
I always say just search for Biff Naked on Google and they all come up on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram. I do my own social media. So sometimes I I am late replying, but I'm always there, and it's always me. So at Biff Naked, you'll always find me.
All right. Well, thank you so much and good luck on Sunday. It's just going to be an amazing show, and there's so many people that are waiting to see you perform again. So we wish you the best of luck and look forward to seeing you.
Thank you. I can't wait. And I hope everyone has a great summer.
All right, taking one last look here at your weather forecast. We are going to see some rain tomorrow and some thunder showers for tomorrow, still with that 32 degrees, so we're probably going to see the heat warning continue on into tomorrow. Then it starts to cool down as we get into the weekend and next week. 23 on Saturday, 22 on Monday, as well as 22 degrees on Tuesday. The coolest day on the week so far. 18 degrees expected for Sunday as our lows start to get a little bit cooler as we are in August, so temperatures will, of course, start to drop. 26 degrees on Wednesday, as well as 26 degrees on Thursday to wrap up the 7 days.
Thank you for joining us on Primetime Local News. Have a great night.